Hey folks, Jorge and Nito here. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome back. So today I have a Bible review. I noticed some that the the videos on the channel that seem to get the most attention and stuff are the Bible reviews, and I can understand that. People are in the business of buying Bibles, and I've been a Christian for some years now, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many Bibles I own, and each one of them is special to me, and I utilize a handful of them, and I still refer back to the others. But the one I want to talk about today is one of my favorites, the New American Standard Bible. This is the Open Bible. It's actually a study Bible. And this is an oldie, but it's a goodie. Let me tell you, for those of you, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but we know that this is the most staunch, literal translation of the Bible that you can get. As far as like King James is right here, we got the NIV is over here as far as its dynamic equivalence. King James is more on the literal end. The New American Standard Bible is over here. It surpasses the King James version, and for good reason. But anyway, so this is the 1977 edition. Yeah. So we have a newer edition, as I'm sure you guys all realize, and that's the 1995 update to the NASB. So this is the 77, but it is still it's great. So I'm going to go over a few things with this. Just a quick story. How I attained the Bible. I went to a bookstore up in Circleville, Ohio, newly opened bookstore. Went to their religious section, found this Bible amongst some other religious books, and I seen New American Standard immediately. I asked the clerk, how much do you want for it? I think I gave like $6 or $7 for it. If you go online right now, you can get these. I have a hard time finding the new ones, though I hear they're out there, but you see a lot of used ones. The cheapest one that I found priced on Amazon and eBay is $22, and that's for the hardcover. I mean, the ones that are like the leather bound, they're up in the $100, $100+. So this, is a desirable Bible in my eyes. I have been trying to read through the Bible with the English Standard Version because I'm trying to find, for the longest time I've been utilizing the NIV, and God has just really, given me a robust understanding through the usage of the NIV, but now I'm to the point in my walk where I need something that's just a little bit more hard-hitting as far as literal goes, and so I'm working my way through the ESV, and there's a lot of things I like about it, but there's just something about this one that I'm always reading out of it, especially when I do like book studies or something like that. I'm usually using this one alongside the ESV. So let me just point out a couple things with this. Like I said, this is called the Open Bible from the NASB, and it says a New American Standard, but it's the NASB. This is their version of the study Bible that came out back in the day. Now, the thing about this one is it does retain the these and the thous. So if that's an issue for you, I grew up on the King James, so when I see, the these and the thous, it doesn't bother me as much, and I kind of know what they're talking about, who they're referring to, and what. So this does retain some of that archaic flair. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but so you get a little bit of that kind of flavor when you go through this. But yeah, I bought this. This is a used Bible, and this already had the thumb tags in it. It already has annotations, not my own, from the previous owner, and so it just had some kind of a feeling to it that I had to have it. Anyway, let's get into it. So we're just going to lay it down right here, try to take a closer look at some of the things that it does offer. Oh, it also comes with this Is that a good view on that? Or okay. So yeah, this owner's guide comes along with it, and this is just like a quick little reference guide of things that it offers. Obviously, an introduction, talks about Bible study methods, the English Bible and its development, history of the Red Letter Edition. It has a plan to read the Bible through in a year, which, that's whatever. Which is a good practice. I shouldn't say that. It's not whatever. It's a good practice to devotionally read through the Bible in a year. So, Bible backgrounds, it talks about the, archaeological discoveries. Obviously has land maps at the back of it. Jewish calendar, I found that to be really important. And chart for monies, weights, and measures. And it gets into some of the content. Introduction to both Testaments, the chronology of the Old Testament. It talks about the intertestamental period along with the Apocrypha. And then, so it does have a concordance in the Bible. It has a harmony of the Gospels, which I enjoy those. Those are helpful in many different things that I do. The teachings of Christ, prophecies of the Messiah fulfilled in Jesus, the parables of Jesus. And so this is going to give you the reference page to where you can find this in the actual Bible. Scarlet thread of redemption. First mentioned things in the Bible. This is a cool section. Interesting and unusual facts about the Bible. Then it has the last things, eschatology, the eschaton, the laws of the Bible, prayers, an outline history of the 12 apostles. Talks a little bit about hermeneutics and Bible interpretation, how to witness, and a guide for Christian workers, which will help in our evangelistic efforts. So like I said, this came out in 1977. I hope you guys can see this. I got this tripod and I've been kind of fiddling with it. So yeah. Thomas Nelson Publishers. They are the Lockman Foundation. So this right here, I guess, is telling, be the copyright. So 1960, 62, 63, 66, all the way to 77. So this one is the 1977. But like I said, we do have the 1995 right now. And fun fact, they're coming out with an update to the NASB in 2020, so that's something to look out for. I've heard some good things and bad things about it, but, until it comes out, I'm going to hold out hope. So yeah, we'll just start out with a quick welcome and introduction to the Open Bible. Talks a little bit about it, editors and contributors, has all the scholars that was involved with it. Obviously has the index. Okay, so the index of the text alphabetically and in sequence, which is kind of cool if you want to see how, chronologically the books fit into place. So this is the contents of the Open Bible. See if I can get in on that just a little bit better. I'm sorry about that, guys. So it has, I'll just point out some of the things that stick out to me. Obviously, we have the text of Scripture. The study helps are things that I'd mentioned before in the quick reference guide, how to study the Bible, the cyclopedic index, a plan to read the Bible through in a year, harmony of the Gospels, Christian life study outlines. So that's kind of interesting. Teachings and illustrations of Christ, prophecies of the Messiah fulfilled in Christ. Sorry about that. And let's see, parables. And then it goes into some of the biblical information like the Pentateuch, Old Testament chronology, calendar, between the Testament. Basically the things that I've already mentioned. So let's just take a look at some of these. Right here's a section on how to study the Bible. And it gives you an explanation of the general layout of the way this study Bible is formatted. Okay, right now we are in the... This is cool. I've been reading through this. This is, how to study the Bible. They have these different... so it says study for Bible knowledge, Bible study by paragraph, Bible study by verse, Bible study by book. Sorry about that. Okay. And, first reading, second reading. What to do during each of these readings of the book that you're reading through. Bible study by words, Bible study by topic, Bible study through biography. Studying the life of some of the characters like Noah, Abraham, Joseph, Jesus. Principles of Bible interpretation. This is where we get into some of the hermeneutics and, reading in context. Right, here's a section on the monies and weights and measures. That's pretty common in most Bibles. Okay, so I just want to compare because I know, let me just speak to the screen here for a second. I know that the NASB is criticized by some people of being too rigid and too wooden, and it's a tough read just because it's so literal, it's so word for word, it's so formal that it's just difficult to work your way through a text. I want to look at two texts. I just want to see how true that is, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the bones that I have to pick with the translation committee. Because we reserve the right as Christians who are called to rightly divide the word of truth, to call into question some of these critical text issues that we see, and so that's just how I feel. But anyway, let's jump to the New Testament first, and we're going to look at Colossians just to see how this argument fares, that the NASB is just kind of wooden and just difficult to read through. Let's read through this section down here when Paul is talking about the church at Colossae and the prayers that he offers up for them. I hope that's in focus. It's hard for me to see. I'm sorry if it isn't, guys. If you're having a hard time seeing, I apologize. So he says in verse 9, chapter 1, verse 9, "For this reason also, since the day we heard of it, we have not ceased to pray for you, and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that you may walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, to please Him in all respects, bearing fruit in every good work, increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all power according to His glorious might, for the attaining of all steadfastness and patience, joyously giving thanks to the Father, who has qualified us to share in the inheritance of the saints in light." And then we'll read the popular verse 16, "For by Him all things were created, both in the heavens and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, rulers or authorities. All things have been created by Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together." So yeah, I can see a little bit of rigidity retained there just by the formal style of the translation, but I don't think that it warrants a negative criticism. Hey, they're just doing the best word for word. They're just trying to put out the best word for word translation that they can and trying to honor the text of God, and I can appreciate that. So we're going to jump over to the Old Testament, and just real quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I'm going to show you an issue that I do have with the way they translated, or something that they did here. So this is Psalm 82. Okay. So it says, God takes his stand in his own congregation. He judges in the midst of the rulers. This word rulers should actually be translated gods, because the Hebrew word that's used here is Elohim, which can be singular and plural. If you want some more information about that, you can go over to Michael Heiser's channel. He talks a lot about this. He's a Hebrew and a Semitic languages scholar. And so he's also a scholar in residence at Logos, or Faith Life, the corporation, or the place that puts out Logos software. So yeah, they interpret this, that instead of using gods, they use rulers. And so it just sounds like, it doesn't, to me, make a lot of sense to use the word rulers, because to me that indicates human rulers. And so anyway, and then down here it also says, verse 8, Arise, O God, judge the earth, for it is thou who dost possess all the nations. Now, according to the Old and New Testament, God is in the process of reclaiming the nations, and he's doing that through Christ. And so how it should be translated is, for it is thou who will possess, or it is thou who will inherit all the nations. And in fact, if you look at some of the other translations, like I'll just show you the ESV real quick. It actually does say, Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit the nations. But since I already know that that's a critical text issue, I know what to look for with some of these things. But the average person, I shouldn't say that. Somebody who's not familiar with some of the text critic issues, and they read over a certain translation, they could be taken a direction that is either misleading, or maybe not even misleading, just uninformed, because there's other things that go along with that. So check out the NASB Study Bible, the Open Bible. It's an oldie but a goodie. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, comment, and as always, God bless. Thanks. Bye.